Hey, everybody out there listening to this podcast. My name is Imani. I am your host, and welcome back to I Don't Know But podcast. Today, I am going to be discussing something that most people don't really think about, and that's their net worth. A lot of people don't even know the definition to net worth and what it actually means. Most people will say, I wanna be a millionaire, and they don't understand what they mean by that. So I wanna talk about that today. So when you think about your net worth, right, I want you to ask yourself, is that the cash in hand? Or is that the value of everything that you own? But what is really net worth? Net worth is the difference between what you own, your assets, right? So let's talk about some assets. Cash, the investments, so your Robinhood account, your Webull, your Fidelity, wherever you would hold your investments, your 401k, your Roth IRA, or your IRA, those various investments that you would have, your property, whether it's the home that you stay in or the home that you purchased as an investment. So any property that you have, anything of value that you have would be your assets, and that you would take against the difference of what you owe, which would be your liabilities. Now these are accounting terms, and I do have an accounting degree, but assets and liabilities are the framework for accounting. So if you take your assets and you subtract your liability, you'll have what they call owner's equity, right? So you in this case, you would be the owner, and equity would be the value you have left over. So your assets are what I explained to you, but now your liabilities are like your debts. So you have student loans, you have credit cards, you have the mortgages for those properties unless, they're fully paid off. You have your car note, whatever bills that you would have that would take away from your assets is a liability, whatever you owe. So calculating your net worth is taking your asset and subtracting your liabilities. And that difference is what your net worth is. So let's go back to the millionaire, right? So when people say, I want to be a millionaire, they're looking at the millionaires that they see on TV. And sure, those people probably own a lot of things, right? They've made a lot of money either through entertainment or influencing or content creation or legitimate businesses, or working hard and saving and investing in the right things at the right time, and they became a millionaire. And I like to say a millionaire on paper, because cash in itself, in most cases, those people don't have. And if you're smart, you probably wouldn't just have. If you're a million, if you are a millionaire and you have $1 million in cash, and that's the only thing that makes you a millionaire, I don't know if that's the wisest decision that you could have made, to hold all of your money in cash. And the reason why I say that is because normally cash doesn't grow, right? As time has progressed, the value of the dollar has decreased. So you're holding yes, I'm a millionaire in cash, right? But the value over time of that $1 million cash is going to decrease. What do I mean by that? What I can spend $10 on today is completely different than what I could have spent $10 on 10 years ago. So let's talk about the gas prices, right? Gas is in New York and Long Island, actually cheaper than a lot of places. So I'll say right now, I think the lowest I saw was $3.27 a gallon. That's three gallons of gas for $10, right? We're falling a little bit under $10. 10 years ago, in 2014, the gas was probably, $2.80 something maybe? So I could get closer to $4 gallons of gas 10 years ago. Or let's just talk about a Big Mac meal. Big Mac meal in New York is about $14. 10 years ago, I can probably get a Big Mac meal for $7.99. So my $10 is, as time progresses, is not going as far as it used to. And then we're not going to talk about in the 50s, $10, you probably could have paid a whole rent. You could have bought groceries for the month. I'm over-exaggerating, but the value of the dollar decreases as time progresses. So you never want to be a millionaire in cash alone. You always want to be a millionaire with valuable assets, right? So what's a valuable asset? A valuable asset is a home or a good investment, because we don't want to say an investment. We want to say a good investment. A valuable asset would be gold, something of that nature, something that is actually going to increase as time progresses. And the longer you hold on to it, the more value it creates for you. So when people say, I want to be a millionaire, that's the first thought that you have to have, or the first thought you have to have when saying that is, what does your millionaire status look like? Do you want to be a millionaire with cash? Do you want to be a millionaire with assets? Because if you look at it, most homes in the United States of America are going to put you darn near close to $500,000 in assets. You're not finding too many home purchases these days and times with values under that. Even the home that I once purchased 5 years ago that I live in has increased significantly. So trying to go out and purchase a home now, you're going to spend $400,000, $500,000 on a reasonable home. And I'm not even talking about a mansion. I'm just talking about a reasonable 3-bedroom, probably 2-bath home in this country. You're spending high 300s, $400,000 for that. So you're almost there. And then if you have saved, you've worked and you've saved for your 401k, depending on your age, you may have, 50, 60 to $100,000 in there. So you're over the $500,000 mark right there. And you may have some cash in the bank and, different things like that. The stuff starts adding up. So you are a millionaire in value or in assets. Valuable assets, I should say. But you may not be a millionaire the way people want to be a millionaire, and that's cash in the bank. Now, we know the FDIC only insures up to $100,000 for a bank account, but it's still nice to have cash in the bank. So I wanted to talk about that because I'm really big on educating and helping people understand how to think about the things that they really are asking. It's like, what are you really asking for, And there's some people who don't want to be millionaires. I'm just throwing that number out there. But what are you really asking for? Even if you wanted to be 100,000 there, and I just made that word up, what are you asking for? Because I guarantee if you purchased a home, you're already that. Now, you may have a mortgage on that, but it's going to appreciate as time goes on. So even your mortgage, it's going to weigh out. It's going to even out. So it's just food for thought. Knowing your net worth makes a difference in how you think about things, because some people want their net worth to reflect $1 million or millionaire status. Some people want their assets to reflect millionaire status. That's good enough for them. You have to decide what it is. Once you decide what it is that you want, it's easier to achieve. It's easier to get there. The best way to do that, list all of your assets. So you would include your bank account, your investments, your home value, and any other personal property that can be valued. And people, you'd be surprised. You have jewelry sitting around that is valuable, especially because the price of gold has gone up tremendously. You may have purchased, I have a rope chain that I purchased when my son was born. So that was almost 25 years ago. And it's a pretty weighty rope chain. I want to say it's probably over 30 grams of gold. And back then it was probably only $80 or something of that nature. I know for 100% fact, if I was to go into a jewelry store now and try to purchase this exact rope chain, with the weight that it's at, they'll probably be looking at me for over $1,000 easy. So you may have some gold, silver, precious stones, rings, earrings, diamonds sitting around the house that are clearly valuable in today's world. Probably were valuable when you purchased it, but they have increased in value that you can calculate to add as an asset. If you are a collector and you're collecting, you may collect Air Jordans and they're in great condition. And, the nostalgia of it all, a lot of people want those things. So they may pay premium for that. Calculate that. That's part of your assets. You may have, video game systems that people collect that you don't really see anymore. Take it to a trade show or pawn shop or whatever. You may be able to get something for that. I'm not saying to sell it now, but I'm just saying add up the value of things you have in your home or around you that would create an asset for you that's valuable enough to call an asset, that is appreciating as time goes on. That's how I want you to think of an asset. Is it appreciating as time goes on? Because we know when you purchase a vehicle, it depreciates as soon as you take it off the lot. Now, you may have been able to get a great vehicle with low mileage that you paid less than what it's worth for. In my mind, that would be considered an asset. Because if forever you went to trade it in or sell it, you would get more money for it than you paid. And I've actually experienced that before. I had a 2006 Toyota Avalon. I'd been looking for a while. I was married at the time, and we were looking for a larger family car. And I had been going around to different dealerships, and I was trying to narrow it down. I wanted an Acura. I wanted what did we test drive? I think it was Acura, an Infinity, and then I said, well, they don't really have large back seats, so I started looking at the Toyota Avalon, and back then it was like a living room set, and it was just that much room. But I started looking at different dealerships, and the car, every time, I went to a dealership, it was like $23,000. It was somewhere around at $24,000. And then one day, the Philadelphia Central City Toyota in Philadelphia contacted me, and they said, listen, we have a Toyota Avalon. It was a 2006. The owner of the Central City Toyota had been driving it, so it was top of the line, had everything in it. They said, if you can get down here today, we can give you this car for $18,699. Those cars at that time were worth $23,000. So I had already established $5,000 plus in value. If you had a situation like that, you can absolutely, or if your car is paid off in full, you can absolutely consider it an asset. But there's a lot of things around the house that we don't even, we look at every day and we don't even realize how much of an asset it is. Especially if it's, if we own it in full, we paid it off. There's no liability attached to it. After you list your assets, list your liabilities. It's the same thing. What are you spending your money on? What do you have to pay each month? Your car note, your mortgage. And I know you're probably saying, well, how can a home be an asset when you have a mortgage? Well, I don't make the rules, people. This is what society says. It's considered an asset, and it appreciates over time. It is the one thing that you actually do have a note on that appreciates over time, unless, God forbid, something happens like 2008 and all the property values just decrease like they did then. But even still, if you hold on to it, it's going to rise back up and probably rise back up above where it even started at when it decreased. So sit down, write all of your liabilities out, sum up all of your debts and your obligations, and then subtract that from your assets. And the result is your net worth. So why is it important to understand your net worth? Understanding your net worth gives you a clear picture of your financial health, and it helps you track your progress towards financial freedom. And like I said, it lays the framework to what do you really want to achieve and how close, because if you don't write this stuff down, you don't even know how close you are to achieving what you may be closer than you think. You may actually be close to that mark, or you may be over that mark, but you won't know until you write it down. What we have to do as people who want to be financially free is we have to start disciplining ourselves to do the work necessary to understand finances. This is not something that we were taught growing up. Now, if you were taught, you probably, I don't know, you might just like listening to my voice. I don't know, just playing. But most people listening to this want to be taught. They weren't properly educated on finances. And so thus, they don't have the strong financial health that they want and desire. And the best way to get to a place of success is to educate yourself in anything. That's in anything. If you want to be a basketball player and the best basketball player ever, how do you become that? You educate yourself on what's needed to get there, right? So you educate yourself on how do you need to shoot that ball? How do you need to defend the ball? How do you need to dribble the ball? You educate yourself on that. And the more you understand and the more you work on those things, hopefully, if you're doing it right, the better you'll become. And it's the same thing with your finances. The more you understand about finances, definitions to certain things, the better you will become at managing your finances. And the first step to doing so is understanding that you have what is called a net worth. And I don't want to drill that into your brain, but it's just very important to understand that, because until you know where you are, it's going to be very difficult to get to where you want to go. Once you know where you are, like I said, you may be closer than you think, or you may have to do more work to get to where you want to go. It's just like a foundation. It's like a starting mark, track and field. This is your start. And then you have that end goal. You may be able to start closer to the end goal, but you won't know until you start. So I just want to, motivate everyone to just become more disciplined in the area of finances and get as much and gain as much knowledge as you can, because we don't want to be trying to figure this out for the majority of our lives. We want to be able to figure this stuff out now, and then that way we can enjoy the majority of our lives, okay? So as always, I appreciate everyone listening. I love you guys. If you want or need assistance and guidance, you can always reach out to me. Financial freedom at businesswondersllc.com is my email address. You can always go to the website, businesswondersllc.com, and then my social media platforms are Business Wonders Consulting, and that's across all platforms. So until the next time, keep that discipline and that money mindset, and let's transform. Take care.